Hello, I'm Spades and welcome back to another video. For this video, I will be taking Pokemon and creating designs for them as if they were humans. This video was voted by y'all in the community poll. I hope you will enjoy this video, and without further ado, let us begin. I started my designs by creating my all-time favorite Pokemon, Gourgeist, the ghost Pokemon. The ghost pumpkin Pokemon. I knew going into design I wanted to give them some sort of gothic inspiration, though it ended up being more cottagecore. It's just due to the colours that I used, though the earthy colours do fit with autumn and, well, fall. I gave her a corset which mimics the shape of the torso and a skirt that mimics the silhouette of a pumpkin or a Gourgeist, being very poofy in shape. I kept the hair the same for the most part, though I added darker roots in the middle part to kind of make the streak of brown in the strand, the Ohoge part, more natural. I also gave them a trim design on their skirt which mimics the pumpkin carved shapes. I love Gourgeist so much. It's a silly pumpkin with a wig and it has dark lore because, well, it's Pokemon and it's a ghost type. I also just like anything autumn, and it's my favorite season and I love everything to do with it. I gave them a glass bottle with a soul inside to be a reference to their Pokédex entries. As those unfamiliar, Gourgeist basically tricks humans, mimicking the sounds of adults or children knocking on doors just to sweep or drag someone into the afterlife. So the soul is like a recently collected soul. Overall, I left that design possibly my favourite, though I don't know if I'm being biased because I love Gourgeist. For my second Pokemon, I decided to turn Luxray into a human. I was looking at the Pokemon design with the spiky mane, the stripes elements, and the colours, and I knew they're a scene kid or someone alternative. So my main inspiration for the design was scene culture and fashion. For the design, I kept their spiky mane but turned it into hair, giving them side bangs with a raccoon tail. I gave them a lot of fur elements and kept the stars as a motif within this design. Striped gloves because scene, and gold accessories to keep within the colour palette. Also, thank you for my friend Liv who helped me figure out the colours for this design. I chose Luxray as simply they were my favourite childhood Pokemon. I think I saw them in a Pokemon book and I just thought, they look cool. And ever since then I've kind of always had a soft spot for them. I also feel like the whole scene thing works, as fashion cultures and alternative stuff tend to lead to people finding like-minded people, which they bond forms and strong relationships over, similar to Luxrays who form their own packs. I know this is really strong within the Lolita community, and I guess it's kind of just any sort of group of people, but that's my mindset of when I was going into this, and I think the design turned out really nice. I love our sweet lion edgelord. I felt like I had to do some form of Pikachu in the Pokemon video, cause Pikachu, it's Pikachu. I decided to do an Alolan Raichu as simply, I love them and I think they have an adorable design and it's my favorite Alolan variation. Though, you know, Duck Trio with those wigs, you know, I think that kind of silly. When humanizing Alolan Raichu, I was like, there's one direction that I could go with. You know the guy from Lilo and Stitch who just loses his ice cream? Him. That's the vibe. I wanted to give him like an almost surfer bro vibe. They surf on their tail, so I was like, yeah. I gave him an almost like dad fit with electric bolts as patterns, and I gave him a bucket hat with swirly ears, and also an electric stone to just reference how you can evolve Pikachu into Raichu. And finally I designed the board so it has his tail on it as a design. He's just a chill guy. That's the vibe for the design. I'm not the biggest fan of swimming, but I'd swim with him, though hopefully he wouldn't fry me into the water because electric type. Chandelure, the Chandelure ghost type. Chandelures are kind of fancy, extravagant, grand, so I knew for the design I wanted to embody that. Having a lot of vintage Hollywood inspiration in their design, and just being very classy. It wasn't intentional, but while designing her, she became this old lady, which I kinda love. She's like sassy old lady who loves the avant-garde and grandness and isn't afraid to still dress like that. For the outfit, I gave her this slit dress with the bottom having fur which is supposed to mimic wax, and long opera gloves with the colours of their kind of bluish, purplish body, a choker which mimics the top crown part of the Chandelure, and a large hat with candles, dripping wax, and it's almost supposed to be like a lampshade. And also, finally, the pearl chains on her body to mimic some like real chandeliers. Overall, I love the concept for this design. I do think I could have leaned into some more of the Pokemon's elements and maybe just given her more. Though I feel like she's one diva of a grandma. For the final Pokemon design, I decided to choose a Pokemon which I know one of my friends really likes, and it's Tinkaton, the adorable pink thing with a giant hammer. That description sounds like a few other characters. But yes, that is quite literally the vibe. A pink thing with a giant hammer. I just made Tinkaton an adorable child with a giant hammer. I gave them overalls as mechanics tend to wear them, and I know Tinkatons are very curious with human technology. I turned the bumps of their head into a bow. I gave them Crocs because they just seem like a croc wearing fiend. And finally, I turned their hammer into one of those giant inflatable hammers, just because I thought it was funny. Oh, I also gave them random sticks in their pockets, as Tinkaton has shapes that look like rocks around their waist, and I think it was supposed to be like a skirt thing, but I took that as Tinkaton is a child that picks up random objects and bugs and shoves them into their pockets, and it's like, look at this! And it's like, oh wow. I think Tinkaton is a little gremlin, but I love them for that, and I won't hear anyone else out if they have just anything bad to say about Tinkaton. I think the design looks silly and sweet. I think the gap tooth really helps with that little rascal vibes, and I just really like it. I did mess up with the hands, but we won't talk about that. Tinkaton? Yes. Sorry, I don't know. So those were my attempts of making Pokemons into humans. I hope you all liked the designs and the video. It was just a fun design exercise. Let me know who y'all's favorite Pokemon are in the description. If I were to choose another Pokemon that'd say my favorite other than Gourgeist, I'd say maybe Lucario or Shelter. As always, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and bye bye!